Good evening and thank you very much for joining us. A summer heat wave is hitting the prairies with temperatures feeling as hot as 40 degrees Celsius. Many are braving the heat, but it could be costly as the chance of heat exhaustion spikes when the mercury rises. Kelsey Bloxham tells us how to stay safe and still enjoy the sun.
The summer of 2012 is already a hot one with temperatures in the low 30s. It's enough to make anyone break a sweat.
I think it's pretty hot. It's kind of nice, and it's supposed to be kind of nice tomorrow too.
But with the temperatures where they are, it's cause for concern.
Heat exhaustion usually occurs when you are out in the exposed sun and you are not well hydrated, you're not taking enough fluids and you're sweating a lot.
The most important thing to remember to avoid heat exhaustion when you are heading outdoors is prevention, and that includes drinking lots and lots of fluids.
When I say rehydrate, it's good to get your electrolytes, and usually that's found in the ready-made preparations like Gatorade and Powerade, but you can always add a bit of salt to your juices or water and also drink that.
Now, the temperature on my phone tells me that it's 27 degrees, but just from standing out here, it feels a lot hotter than that, and there's a reason for it.
So the Humidex combines the temperature and humidity to tell us how hot it feels when we are outside. Here in Lloydminster, we've had temperatures into the 30s over the past few days, and with humidities upwards of 60 or 70%, it will make it feel more like 40 degrees.
Even today, Environment Canada issued a Humidex advisory,
which tells us that we need to be extra cautious when we head outdoors, especially for elderly people, children, and people at risk.
Cool yourself, go in an air-conditioned environment, go in the shade if there's no air condition, use the fan and drink a lot of fluid.
But if you don't have air conditioning at home or are finding it hard to get a spot in the shade, there's always the pool. Kelsey Bloxham, Newcap News.
And these hot temperatures are expected to continue. Bart Padiasic hit the streets to find out how residents are beating the heat.
Frozen Bliss has been one of the more popular spots since a heat wave has hit the city.
This last week we've been definitely busier, especially in the evenings, people getting off work. They come in all the way up until close, rushing down for yogurts.
This is the first summer the yogurt shop has been open, and they appreciate the extra business the weather has brought it.
Yes, I know it does good, yeah. It definitely helps us out a little bit more.
But frozen treats aren't the only way people in Lloydminster are getting by. The Lloydminster Public Pool is one of the hot spots in the city to get away from the heat.
Yeah, it's pretty normal, especially when it's this hot, and this is the only outdoor pool we have, and we don't have a spray park anymore at Bud Miller, so a lot of tension on us to keep this place running.
So busy, in fact, that they had to turn people down as they were over capacity last night.
So the people that we turned away that have been waiting, we gave them a few free passes so that they could come back, but we can't really kick people out even though we are at max capacity. The
retailers in the city we spoke to were either sold out of air conditioning units and fans or close to it. Bart Padiasic, Newcap News.
And with people hitting the pool to cool off, a local health group has found a clever way to encourage exercise. The outdoor pool received a splash of color today, all to encourage more physical activity.
Well, they've done different YouTube things to see if people will hopscotch, if you draw it, if they'll actually do it, and we thought that's really neat. And it's just one more way to remind people to make sure that they're active and to make sure that their kids are active.
And In Motion is hoping their hopscotch will inspire exercise in a subtle way.
Sometimes people think you need to do the formal things like put them in soccer or hockey, and that stuff's important, but so is just the everyday, remembering to play, being active.
Any business interested in having hopscotch painted on their sidewalk is asked to contact In Motion. A warning for anyone heading to Moose Lake near Bonnyville. The water is unsafe for people and animals. Alberta Health Services says blue-green algae has shown up in the lake, which produces a poisonous substance in the water, causing serious illness for anyone who touches it. People are asked not to swim or wade in the lake, touch the algae on the shoreline, or eat fish from the water. Contact with the algae can cause skin irritation, fever, diarrhea, and vomiting, and usually shows up within 1 to 3 hours of contact. Tougher mortgage rules are now in effect across the country, stopping many from being able to buy that bigger, better home. Anna Stanislaw takes a local look at the changes and who they're affecting right here.
With new mortgage rules comes new responsibility. The maximum amortization period is now 25 years, down from 30 years. And if you would like to refinance your home, the maximum value that you can get is 80%, down from 85%.
A lot of people now, especially young people, getting into bigger and better houses. I think it's going to really put the responsibility back on them to go into a house that they can actually afford as opposed to what they want.
These new rules will mostly affect first-time home buyers, as mortgage payments will increase due to the shortened length of the amortization period.
I was a little bit more hesitant because I was a little bit more worried about the finances and making sure that all the financing would work, but it all still did work out in the end.
Heather Clegus bought her home before the new rules were in effect, but was still recommended to choose the 25-year amortization period.
I felt like I had to save up a little bit more money first before I actually went out and started looking for a place to buy and actually buying a place. And also I found that the new rules meant that it kind of changed the price range in what I was looking at buying.
Those looking to buy a house will have to be a little bit more patient. Schneider believes these rules will help personal budgeting.
I think they're going to have to wait a bit longer to buy a house, say for example saving up a bigger down payment or paying off some existing debt so they can actually get that monthly mortgage payment, what they can actually afford. It all comes down to what can you afford.
Anna Stanislaw, Newcap News.